Alright, so when we're drawing the face, you are going to start with an upside down egg shape. Okay, and I'm going to go with a more thick line so that way you can see what I'm drawing, but you are going to just kind of go and you're going to draw this egg type shape. Try to keep it symmetrical. Mine's a little off. So I'm going to do it again. You just want it to be relatively similar on both sides. That's a little bit better, close enough. Okay, now from there, you're going to go and you're going to add a horizontal line and a vertical line, both cutting the face right in half. So from here, cut in half, and I find it easier to find it on the line, and then from there, cut in half. Try to keep the lines pretty flat, but that's going to be your eye line. Then about halfway down again, it's going to be your nose line. And about halfway down again would be your mouth. I think the mouth usually, though, is a little bit higher, maybe just a little bit higher than that, just to give you where your center line for the mouth is going to be. And then you'll draw a line for that. Now you can start to see how the face is coming together. Now the next part I'm going to go ahead and enlarge for, because this next part is where you're finding the dimension of the eyes. Your eyes, you're going to fit 5 across. So what I mean by that is if we were to go from this side to this side, you would fit 5, you would divide this into 5. Okay, so to do that, we want to kind of try to figure out about equal on either side of the center line. And then you're going to take your pencil, and what I mean by this is you're going to take your pencil, if this is your pencil, like this, right? Then you're going to measure using the tip of your pencil however long that space is. Okay, so for me, that space is, measuring it with my pencil, I'm going to measure it over, go right about there. And from this side, right about there. And if I measure again, that should be approximately the same width. This one I find is a little bit further over, which is also because my head's not quite symmetrical. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my gray color. I'm going to move those marks onto that eye line. Actually, I should have gotten rid of, actually we can just, we'll erase it. And then because that eye line comes out a little bit more, I'm actually at this point going to go and fix my head, okay? Because I could tell before it wasn't quite right, and you'll see that it's not quite even. So I'm just kind of measuring. Oops. Trying to figure out about where it needs to come out to. Just try to kind of sketch this in, get this about where it should be. You can always go back and erase those extra lines. It's a little bit better. I'll go fix those little lines in there. Now see the head's a little bit more symmetrical, more right on where it should be. and we have our space for our eyes, because you're going to be able to fit an extra eye in between here. Okay, so an extra eye would fit between your two eyes, and then there's the extra space on the sides. Okay, so that kind of is what that is. You'll see that in a second. Okay, so from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start to add the features in. Before we go and add anything else, we're going to go ahead and put the ears in. Your ears go from your eye line to your nose line. Okay, and so that is right there. And to put your ear in, you're just going to do this like smushed, kind of like 3 shape. Okay, and that's just going to kind of give you the ear. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. Right there. Oops. And put a little line in there so we see where we need to end. And it would go to about there. Only now they look very crooked. So I'm going to take that one off. I think I got a little low. I think it's more up here. And that looks a little bit better. Okay. So always fix as you go, because right now we're just putting in guidelines. We're not putting in any major detail, any major work into it. So if you need to fix something, now is the time to fix it. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add another layer in so that way we can kind of see, because I've added everything very dark and very thick. So that way you can see exactly where things need to go. The other thing we want to do before we move on to the facial features is your hair. Okay. Little kids tend to draw a face. They draw a circle, they draw the eyes, they draw a nose, a mouth, they'll do ears, and then the hair comes like this. Your hair does not actually come off the top of your head, okay? This is what we want to not do. No, okay? It's not what we're doing. What you need to do is you need to consider the hairline. Actually, let me just come over here. Okay, so we're going to consider the hairline. Your hairline, if you measure from your eye line to the top of your head, you'll see that is, from eye line to the top of your head is the same distance that we just had when we were doing, so this is the same as this. Okay? And within that, about halfway down, is where your hairline starts. So you can just do kind of a rough kind of hairline line in here. Your hair is going to kind of come a little bit in front of your ears. Obviously, this is not exactly where your hair is going to be, but we're just giving ourselves kind of a rough outline so we can start to see where those facial features are going to come in. Okay, now I will go to that other layer so that way we can put the actual facial features in. And we're going to go back to our pencil option. And from here, I'm going to start with the nose, because the top of the nose is going to come into the eyebrows. So we want to try to keep our nose width to be the same distance as, if I show you on this one, so let me actually go back to the other pencil so I can show you this a little easier. Okay, so the width of the nose is going to be about that wide, and then your mouth, switch to a different color, the mouth is going to be from about the center of the eyes, and that's going to give you the distance there. Okay, so I'll kind of leave that on there for right now, and then I'll go back and erase those later on. But again, we're going to go back to the regular pencil, and we're going to try to fit the nose within those red lines. So I'm going to put the ball of the nose. I get that in there. And then the nostrils. Doesn't have to be exact, but again, we're trying to kind of keep those proportions. So we've got that. And now the sides of the bridge of the nose are going to come up and form those eyebrows. Bridge of the nose up into forming those eyebrows. Okay, and we're going to kind of just go with it for now. Try to get it as symmetrical as possible. That is the difficult part about drawing the face altogether, is just keeping it as symmetrical as possible. Okay, we're not doing any of the shading right now. We're just going to put in those basic outlines, those basic features, and now we can go down to the mouth. So for the mouth, you can either use the line that we drew as the bottom or as the center line. I'm going to use it as the center line. And so from there, I'm going to zoom in on the mouth here so we can see. And I'm going to make this person smiling. So coming from where those pink lines are, I'm going to kind of upturn. Remember the flattened out M. Try to kind of keep it even. Okay, now we have our center line. After the center line, you're going to go and you're going to put the little V for the top lip. We're not going to go all the way down, remember, because you don't want major outlines on your mouth. And then down below, basically where we had the halfway point line drawn, I'm going to put in the line for the lower lip. I'm actually going to go back and erase that because we want to make this widened out and kind of go from here. Okay, so now that I've got that, I'm going to go back and erase some of these guidelines, which I just realized that I did not do them on the other layer. So it's going to make erasing a little bit tougher, but it is what it is, right? Just going to narrow that down. We go ahead and erase, because I'm on the wrong layer. So erasing those guidelines. Okay, let's go back in and fill in with the pencil where we need to. Okay, the lines that I was hoping to be able to erase though were these guidelines. So I'm just going to kind of take those out as best as I can. You can kind of erase the guidelines as you go. But now we're going to go back into the eyes. Okay, and again, the eyes you want to be able to fit between these 2 points. So we are trying to fit the eyes between, oops, between here and here. Okay, so that is what your goal is. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're adding the space in. You want the eye to, you still want to have the, oops, I'll put one back to black. You still want to have the tear duct come down. You're going to go to the corner. The little tear duct kind of comes here and up to the corner. Okay, and now you're going to attempt to do the exact same thing, but the mirror image of it on the other side. So from here, I'm going to come in about the same amount and kind of create that arc, goes over the eye line, coming down into our tear duct, which I'm kind of checking now because I can see that it's not the same level. So if I kind of just come across, more like here. And then up to the corner. It's not too bad. The eyes are a little bit different. So I'm going to kind of go and fix that. So that's a little bit better. It's a little bit flatter on the bottom. Again, trying to make these symmetrical is the hardest part. So it's a little bit better. Okay, so now we have the basic outlines. And from here, you can go in and erase the rest of your guidelines. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in with my eraser tool. I need to go back to the right layer though. I'm gonna erase these center lines. I'm gonna leave my guideline for the hair. We'll deal with that when we do hair. I'm erasing this one. Erasing the halfway. Gonna erase through here. Erase this part down here. And we kind of basically have the outline for the face. Okay, any other little things that we need to erase, we can go and do that this time too, because you want to kind of have everything basically where you want it. Okay, so from here, this is all you need for your basic outline sketch. If you're finding, like I'm finding right now, that this eye is a little too small, I'm going to go, I have the privilege, this is one of the advantages of digital, is I'm going to go and make that just a smidge bigger. I think that looks a little bit better. Yeah, a little bit better. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so this is the point that you want to get to for the sketch of the face. Okay, this is all you need to do for the sketch of the face. Go back, watch, pause where you needed to pause, and continue.